Well. Okay, voice crack immediately? Not what I was going for. Wait, give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, no voice crack, maybe? Hello, Solstix. How's it going? Yeah, my voice is completely knackered. Not so good, but yeah. Licking the bell. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, my voice isn't doing so hot, but maybe after the stream, you'll find out why. Yeah, so today we're gonna be doing a bit of Chaos Zero Nightmare. There's the new character, as well as the end of the season, which means that now we've got, what was it called? Mid-season, mid-season, whatever it's called. We also have half-anniversary stuff in Chaos Zero Nightmare to check out, so we'll take a look at some of that today, I figure. I think so. And otherwise, I hope everyone's been well. I hope everyone's, I don't know, I guess some of the tests that I know Virgil was going on, Easter and everything has about wrapped up as well. But as for the rest of us, what is there? I don't know. My voice, losing my voice? Yeah, but that's not gonna stop me. Apparently, we do have an ad coming in, so I'm just gonna run it now, and then I can faff around a bit and talk while the ad is running before I get into any of the meat of the content, per se. You know, I was, well, a little bit related, so people who are in the ad won't be able to see, right? They won't be able to see, but the reason why my voice sounds like it does, and also why my voice is in somewhat agony again today, after the exact same thing happened yesterday, is partly because I'm looking into music production. And now you might be wondering, oh, well, why would your voice hurt? Well, I'll leave it up to your imagination. Why do you think my voice hurts after I looked into music production of all things? And you know what? I am quite intrigued, let's say, how they've managed to make certain effects or certain voices, let's say, like with vocal effects and so on. That it was quite interesting, giving it a go myself and seeing how it's done. Not that I've done it well, mind you, it's still all largely practice, but because it's practice, I figured that I would put out something as a result of it, so that you know I'm not just, like, wasting my time. And I know it's a little bit self-demeaning to myself to say, oh yeah, I've been wasting my time with this thing. No. What I'm meaning is that I'm wasting my time re-recording the exact same thing 50,000 times just so that I can prove some kind of a point, or just so that I can show off something in particular. But my main reason for it is more like I want to put out something and I want to show that what I've learned from it. So it's a little bit varied in that sense. Okay, also I realized that I've forgotten my tea. So you know what? Hold that thought, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back now, and maybe I sound a little bit better after drinking some tea. I'm not really sure, but I am, yeah, I am looking into music production and whatnot, and hopefully not everyone just left because I took a short 30-second break there to run and get my tea. But that does bring us to Chaos Zero Nightmare, I think. I think I've spoken a little bit. I mean, you're going to see what I do with it anyway, right? You're going to see. Either I post it today. I did say yesterday, oh, I'll post it today or tomorrow. Yeah, it's looking like today. Question is, can I edit a video in time to be able to satisfy that requirement? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Either way, that brings us to Chaos Zero Nightmare, my second topic and primary meat of today, what we're going to be doing. So I notice there's so many notifications on my screen. We've got the half anniversary. We've got festival missions, apparently, where we use up a certain amount of energy. Yeah, fair enough. We've then got Diana and Sophia. However, we also have these two. I don't know what this is, but this is implying to me that we're probably going to get some kind of character coming up in 20 days, perhaps. It just says special guests will visit during the festival period, but I don't know what that means. So Diana was released basically today with maintenance and everything, and now I can't fully say what she does. My first impressions, however, if we go here. No, that's not it. Agent info, it's not probability info, of course. She seems to be a curious damage dealer, mainly because she's a hunter, and all of the hunters that we've had thus far have been some variant of a really good damage dealer. I think the only one that's a little bit lackluster is probably Luke, at least in comparison to, oh, why am I forgetting her name? Sereniel, Renoa, and Hugo. Those three are all doing quite well for themselves, so why should we give Diana the time of day? That is her name, right? Yeah, Diana. So why should we give Diana the time of day besides the fact that she's one of the only new passion units to come out? First of all, we've got her regular damage. It's 2 damage, 1 heal. Nothing too special. I don't know if I'd prefer shield or not. Honestly, I'm not really sure which of those I prefer to swap between. So maybe it's fine. We've got All My Heart, which is create 2 Heartbreaker, and that's our bullet card for Diana. Discard 1 random bullet card. If this card is discarded, extra attack. So it's kind of like Renoa, except this time the cards themselves attack and discard at the same time, which to me feels like an upgrade of Renoa, though I'll have to see if she even gets an epiphany that allows her to create a power of some kind. Oh no, not a power, an upgrade. They're called upgrades in this. This isn't Slay the Spire 2. We've then got Heartshaker, which is 1 Resonance. Discard 1 random cards from the draw pile. If this is discarded, 2 Resonance to a random enemy. And then we've got Resonance on discard, extra attack, then decrease Resonance by 1. So it's an innate or a buffed version of extra attacks. Kind of like a better Renoa again. And it can discard a card from the draw pile, which is the first time this has happened. And if it's resonanced or discarded, then we get 2 Resonance, which isn't half bad. It's pretty good. Also, I can turn off my music. But I'm also realizing I don't have the game's audio on. How foolish of me. How foolish of me. Let's see if I can remedy this. There it is? Yeah. Now. Okay. So, we have the 2 resonance and whatnot, and it is a bullet inside the draw pile that you somehow pull. So you've got 2 cards that create bullets, which is not half bad. At the end of your turn, it's basically a free version of, it's like having 2 versions of Renoa's bullets. I know this. Then we've got Quietus. When this card is discarded, activate this card. This card cannot be moved from the used card pile for this turn, which is kind of new. I wonder if this should have been a new keyword for Diana specifically, or if this should have been a keyword added in general. And the reason why I say this is because Quietus, just as a card text, is really good. Mainly because we've already got cards that activate whenever they're discarded. To have a specific keyword for it is not half bad. I genuinely think that this should have been a default keyword for the game, not that this should have been, this shouldn't have been unique to Diana. I think that Diana having more unique things like this really helps, but this gives Nia a bit more feasibility as well, or more usability in terms of all the content and things that she can provide, because there are not a lot of characters besides herself that gain bonuses from discarding in general. And now, You can, once again, argue Renoa, so why are we looking at Passion Renoa? Well, Passion Renoa, I hope it does something a little bit different, but the Resonance, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So if this card is discarded, activate Resonance inflicted on a target by this unit 3 more times. So it's like Renoa, but extra hits, basically. And welcome, Mr. Brown. Welcome, Shower Gang, indeed. How have you been? How have you been? I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm sort of losing my voice. Sort of. And I did give a bit of a teaser for it. But maybe you'll see after stream. Maybe. We'll see how fast I can edit everything in post. Otherwise, it'll have to be yet again tomorrow that I do it. But the reason why, and I'll give you a hint, is because I was looking into a little bit of music production. But I won't say any more than that, so we'll see. Yeah, see, Solstix is excited. Then we've got, I'm doing good, got sudden day off tomorrow. Dude, that sounds so nice. I feel like one of the issues, however, is that, like, you get, what? Either one of the middle weekdays off, and then you don't get a long weekend. I don't know if I like that, because if I'm doing... I would rather have a long weekend. Maybe that's just me, but if I could pick out of all the days to have off, I would probably take a longer weekend than disjointed. But if it's random and if it's sudden, then that makes sense, you know? Like, you can't really choose in that case, but I still feel like long weekend, let me hibernate. But if it's just one day, then work, then 2 days of my weekend, in that order... I feel like, oh gosh, I'm gonna pass out, wake up for work, then I'm going to do the exact same thing. Maybe it's just me who's really tired all the time. And whoa, music? Yeah, potentially. Potentially. I'm talking about music production, but we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, it's random. If I could choose, I'd choose Friday or Monday. Exactly, right? I feel like choosing Monday. You should choose Monday if you could ever choose to have a day off, because one of the things that happens, right, is that with Mondays, people are geared towards having high energy for the rest of the week, and then Friday comes and they're already, like, completely worn out. But if you pick Monday as your day off, then you end up missing that, like, initial energy that everyone at the workplace seems to have, and you get the tiredness of people on Friday, which means more people are lax. Okay, this might be my slacker mentality, but man, do I love slacking off. No, I just love sleep, okay? That's why I would pick Monday, you know? I'm like Garfield, I hate Mondays. My one day off is tomorrow. At least it's a day off. I will say that. You know, there's nothing wrong with having a day off just in general. I mean, I love having my days off. I would just love to sleep the entire day and figure out how that goes, you know? So, lol, slacker gang? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, you know what I did forget to do? I forgot to check the different epiphanies for this. And it's not so much... I don't know, you look at Steve Jobs' quotes, and he says something like, oh yeah, I don't hire the smart guy to do my work, I hire the lazy guy to do it because he'll find the easiest way to do it. Steve Jobs, hire me! Steve Jobs, hire me! That's what I'm thinking, right? Because now I can be lazy and have an excuse for it. I'm also waiting for the blue flavor video. I know, it was meant to come out this week. It's still meant to come out this week. I was wondering, honestly, if I should have made a scheduling for it so that I could kind of show off, but that I'm not too sure of. Like, whether or not it'll increase my views whatsoever. So, the reason why it's taking me a little bit longer is because I did get into the music production, and then that kind of took up all my interest, and then I began to hyperfixate on it a little bit. So, we don't mind that. We don't mind that. I'm also... No, I just... Like, awaiting the blue flavor video, I am as well. You know what? I'm awaiting for it as well. I'm a boo waiting for it, you know what I mean? So, we'll see where that one goes. But yes, we've got some of the epiphanies. And why is this not just, Renoa, but Passion? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I'm looking at some of the epiphanies, and they really feel like it. So, create 3 Heartbreaker. This one is really interesting. Change all 1 cost or lower exhaust cards in hand into Heartbreaker. That one's really cool, actually. I wonder if that can trigger some kind of transformation effect eventually. It does have Quietus, which means that it can be drawn via her draw 1 Quietus card and discard 2. It's not half bad. It's just, again, I feel like that should have been a keyword that was generalized to the game, and not so much everything else. But then, we've also got draw 2, I mean, that makes sense. We've got an increase, that makes sense. Apply Quietus to all exhaust bullet cards in hand. Now, I'm a little bit confused why you would want to draw your Quietus cards in one go. That, to me, feels like you don't want to do that. You would rather attempt to not draw those, draw everything but it, then reshuffle the entire deck, and then discard every single one of them. Like, if you were playing her with Nia, that you would generate all these cards, reshuffle the deck, and then redraw, then discard as much as possible to reshuffle in the draw pile. But maybe this is just a tactic that I'm not understanding, but also it increases the cost to 2, so who's to say? Then we've got the upgrade, which is at the start of the turn, create 2 Heartbreaker. If 5 or less heart bullets are owned, create 1 more. Not half bad, not half bad. That's basically a guarantee so that you always get to use Diana's cards. So I quite like it. Then this one, also change 0-cost exhaust cards in hand into random heart bullets. What are random heart bullets? It's just these 2. It's just these 2. I don't know if that's even any good. It's just reshuffling. You've changed this card to reshuffling, so I'm not sure if you really want to try get one or the other. I'm still figuring this out as I go reading through her cards, because she's got so many things that interact with each other that it feels like Passion Renoa really has something going for her. Maybe. So, create 2 Heartbreaker for the next 3 extra attacks by a different combatant, 1 resonance to the target. Basically just an overly complicated marked system that I think tracks via its own separate stat. So I'm assuming that you kind of want to play a marked build, though then again, this is how most Passion combatants or teams end up becoming. It's just, yeah, we've got Veronica for extra attack, yeah, we've got Selena for marked, and now we've got Diana for resonance. So they've all got their own, even though they kind of scale off of not of each other, but off of the same thing. So then, discard up to 2 cards in hand, create a Heart Shaker for each card discarded, +1. The +1 is pretty good, but also, it's kind of funny, that's the first time we've seen a +1 just here. So, theoretically, you could just get an entire hand, and then this, and that would be pretty good, but, well, you can only discard 2. So you can't discard your entire hand, unfortunately. Then we've got the reshuffle, which doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why you would want to reshuffle, why not just, like, focus on one or the other? I can't see this being useful ever, but maybe that's just my preconceived notion of it. Then create 1 of each heart bullet, 1 resonance to a random enemy for each different bullet card in hand. That's at most 2, so essentially you're just fulfilling the function of exactly one thing, which is okay. It's okay. It's at least a way to create 1 of each heart bullet. I mean, yeah, you've got more, less heart... Wait. Does it say create 2 Heartbreaker and then it actually creates 2 Heart Shaker? I've just noticed this. Wait, I've just noticed this. Okay. It's referencing the wrong card. I just noticed. Yeah, that's not the right card. Okay. Now, now I'm confused if that's actually a translation or if the mechanics work differently. But I suppose we'll see. So then, we've got the last one, retain and unique, meaning that you can't duplicate it. Change Heart Shaker in hand into Heartbreaker. Retain, create 1 Heart Shaker. I think this is probably going to be the one that you go for. It's either this one or, come here, Milk Pong. Milk and Pong. Or, no, actually, that's probably it. You either want to go for that one, or you want to go for the next 3 extra attacks by a different combatant. And I think those are the ones that you probably end up going for. I could be wrong. There's Mr. Blow who's probably smarter than me than this, but we've got no season boss, because right now we're not in the season. So, who's to say? I might be the genius, the expert, the trusted professional and adult when it comes to this situation. So, perhaps you may just listen to me. Then this one, it's just flat out upgrade of what this does, which is 2 resonance if this is discarded. 3 more times. Nope. Instead it's 3, then do it 5 more times. Wow. For the next 5 haste attack cards used, 1 resonance to the target. pretty okay. That does require that you have bullets in hand. Or no, it doesn't. It doesn't qualify that it's for this turn. It's just the next 5. So then it's a somewhat permanent stack, which is okay. We've then got the removal of bullets. I don't know why that's highlighting it as green. That should probably be highlighting it as red since it's the removal of effect. Then we've got just the same damage improvements. And activate resonance inflicted on the target by this unit 10 times. Oh, that could be really good. It's just a high damage card, but it doesn't mean that you can't draw it via bullet or activate anything via bullet, which is okay. Plus 100% damage amount for each bullet card discarded on this turn. That has the potential of being really powerful if you have Nia and you just discard your entire deck. I wonder if you played Renoa and Diana together, you could make this card deal insane amounts of damage. Okay, I know what you're talking about, but in case Twitch doesn't, then I'm not saying this. D6, I get what you mean. I get that those are birds, but I can't always be sure. I can't always be sure. We're just gonna assume that that's the case. Pair of birds the other day. But yeah, welcome. How are you, D6? How's it going? Hopefully my voice isn't too completely damaged by this, but yeah, I've been kind of holding on to something, so we'll see. And then we've got the last Epiphany. 180% damage to all enemies. Whoa! All enemies instead of just one? That's crazy. When this card is discarded, activate resonance inflicted on all enemies 2 times. That's pretty okay. Pretty okay for an AoE. It's at least not half bad. I think they were long-tailed tatas. Yeah, they were. I'm not falling for these wily schemes you've got going on here, trying to describe this bird's name to me. I shrimply will not fall for it. And then, draw 1 Quietus cards, which is basically one of hers and only hers. If anything, this to me is an illusion that they will be adding more Quietus keyword cards. Unless they've already added it, and I haven't gotten to the content that includes it because it's in this pre-season, mid-season, post-season content. In which case, okay, cool. Otherwise, no thanks. It's just drawing Diana's cards. Draw 1. If the discarded card was a different combatant, create 2 heart bullets. Very good, actually. Pair that with Diana. Very good. They're literally named that in English. I know. I'm aware. It's, I don't want to say this on stream. Who knows what... You guys made me do an anime girl voice yesterday, even when my voice was still hurting yesterday, and then you used it against me. So you think me saying that word is not going to be used against me? I think it is. I think it is. You've got me running on, like, a level of paranoia just in case. I have to be extra certain to... Are you bird watching too? If you count playing games with anime girls in them, yeah, I'm watching some birds, if you catch my drift. I'm watching some birds. My favorites... I mean, do angels count as a type of bird? Diana technically counts as a type of bird, I would imagine. She's got wings. Because, yeah. So, wow, problem solved. I don't know, my favorite bird? Probably some kind of parrot. I'm trying to think. Maybe a toucan. Toucans are pretty cute, I think. They've got little banana beaks. Or, well, not little, but very big banana beaks. No? You think they don't count? An angel doesn't count as a big bird? Okay, this might be contentious, but I do think that angels probably are birds. They're birds of the human realm. And harpies don't count. Harpies don't count. Actually, harpies might count. If you consider that harpies don't have their wings attached to their arms, and you consider them separate, like the difference between a wyvern and a dragon, then yes, I can see that. But otherwise, I think angels are probably a type of bird. No, I like barn owls. Barn owls are really cute. I love owls. Owls are such cool little guys. Unless they're a girl, then they're cool little gals. They're all very cute. I love owls. They look so silly whenever they've just showered as well. It's like they shrink. They look compressed. They've been, like, morphed into the shape so that I would know what they would look like when they turn into a chicken nugget for my meal, for my dinner tonight. You know what I mean? Maybe not. But the point being that owls look pretty funny whenever they're taking a shower. Like, when they join Shower Gang, they have just changed into the shape of my future chicken nugget. So, it's whatever. We got create 2 heart bullets, 1 resonance to all enemies for each combined cost of the discarded cost, maximum 6. I feel like this is meant to resonate, no pun intended, with Rita. Because who else has a card that has a maximum value of 6 cost? I struggle to think of something like that. Discard up to 3 bullet cards in hand. Dry a Quietus card for each card discarded -1. So you have to create to then draw, which seems quite difficult, I would imagine. Maybe if you just draw, then do this, but you would have to duplicate this in order to get the benefit. I'm not entirely sure. Discard all bullet cards in hand, 80% extra attack to a random enemy for each card discarded. That one's really good if you get an entire hand. That one's really good. I really like it. I think that one is probably going to be the best one. Then we've got Blooming Love, which is a unique upgrade. Instead, if no Quietus cards of this unit are in hand, draw 1 Quietus card of this unit 1 time per turn. And it's an upgrade, so it does it every single turn. That's not half bad. That's not half bad, except that the bullets count. So that does kind of suck. Have you seen the burrowing owls? They're little critters that live in the ground. Now I'm going to have to check an image of this, because that sounds really funny. Burrowing owls. Let's see. Do they just, like, dig into the ground, these little guys? They just, like, make these little holes for themselves to live in? They do look pretty grumpy until they're surprised. I feel like that's the same thing with all owls. They just look really, really angry, and then you, like, tickle them behind the back or the scruff of their neck, and they're like, oh, never mind, I love you now. Why did you sound like Trump? Because that was my impression. That was my really bad impression. It was my impression. Very awesome, very cool. We are winning bigly. I don't know, maybe it's not as good as I think it is. And I actually suck at it. But these little owls look pretty cool. Burrowing owls? Where do you think they burrow most? They're native to North and South American grasslands, deserts, and open areas. Interesting. If we could categorize or find a place where angels perhaps live, if they were a real-life bird, they would probably live by mountains. This is like a Minecraft mod to add a whole bunch of angel mobs. It's good? Oh, thank you! Wow, it doesn't suck? Now that's a surprise. I think they're related to the little owls. Little owls? Wait, there's like a specific breed? Oh my gosh, there's a specific breed just called little owls. Dude, what? That's so silly. Wait, what? You can just be called Little Owl and suddenly you're a different breed? I always knew they were built different. I always knew. There's a button to listen to bird calls on Google now? Wait, what? Whoa! I can hear bird calls now. They're like, meow, like that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that you could do that on Google now. Like, you can just, like, Google a bird and get bird calls for it. But also, yeah, little owls, and they're just small owls. Like, what's the common owl? Is it, does it just have a name? The Great Horned Owl. Forest-dwelling barred owl. Okay, I don't know any of these. Little owls, they will be the number one. The one that I think of whenever I think of owls will be little owls, except they look kind of hawkish. They do look a little bit hawkish, I gotta admit. Yeah, so then we take a look at the last one. Whoa, Liberated Feelings. Draw 2 exhaust bullet cards, 300% damage increase. Okay. 300% damage, so it attacks, it draws 2, then attacks, then increases the damage amount by 30% for each different bullet card in hand. Which is only 2 if you have Diana, otherwise it's more if you play her with another hunter. So she seems like a really good character for having more. More than just one hunter, which I guess you can include Sereniel, but Sereniel only really has one type. Yeah, when you search any animal, there's a button to hear them now. Wait, so now if I Google what does the fox say, or fox, does it have any fox animal? Does it have the little button for it? Oh, it does. Oh my gosh, that's what the fox is. It's that's the fox. The fox. It has an audio. I never knew. When did they add this? What? When did they add the ability to hear what different foxes or different animals sounded like when you Google them? Not just foxes. What? Oh wait, it's different every time. What? Now it's like like that. Whoa. Wow. There's so many noises that these foxes are making, dude. What? Oh my goodness. I didn't know they could do all of this. I remember this fiction since I was a kid. What does the fox say? Indeed. What does the fox say? What were the lyrics? The frog goes croak, the elephant goes toot, and the seal goes bow bow bow. Ducks say quack or quack, and fish go blub. And then the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does the fox say? That's it. Now I'm remembering. I'm remembering it as a stream of consciousness as it comes to me. As I repeat every single one of the lyrics, I'm slowly but surely getting to it. Also, Cupid shot. That's a unique one. It's also not an exhaust, so you add it permanently to your deck for each time that you use the ego skill. That is very interesting. 120% damage, 60% extra attack to a random enemy for each bullet card in hand. That seems kind of curious, to be adding cards to your deck via ego skill. That I would not have imagined. And wait, do they... Oh, they all have. Oh, okay, it's new. It's new. Search for Eurasian J. Okay. What does Eurasian J sound like? Let's see. It doesn't have the thingy. It doesn't have the thingy. It doesn't have the listen to what does the fox say for this little guy. Can I... No. He doesn't have it. Oh my gosh, he's excluded. They do look cool though. They kind of look like they've got fish scales at some part. But no, I'm not seeing the sound button for them whatsoever. Oh, unfortunate. Adds the following effect to the Disruption Fire card. Discard 1 random cards of this unit. Wait. So you want to keep the regular basic attack so that you can use the... I don't know about that. That seems quite niche. It sounds like a door hinge. This bird sounds like a door hinge. Wait, I need a sound. Let's see. Maybe I can find it. Eurasian J call. We need to see what this sounds like. What do you sound like, little buddy? What do you sound like? Do you sound like a door hinge? Does he? It sounds like a creak. It does sound a little bit like a creak of a door of some kind. It's like it's like the animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's jumping out at you. That's not half bad. 5% damage amount to Disruption Fire, and if Diana's critical chance is greater than 20%, add an additional 10. Greater than 10, 4+ extra damage. That is really good. That is really good. They are related to crows? I wouldn't have guessed based off of how they look. But also, how do you know so much about birds? You a bird guy? You one of them bird people? You one of them bird enjoyers? True. True. Damage amount to the Liberated Feelings card? Oh, that's just the unique. And changes the draw count of Exhaust Bullet to 3. Each time an ally discards a card, gain 2 flutters. At the end of the turn, 200% extra attack to the target with the highest max HP, and increase the damage amount of the extra attack by 10% for each flutters, then decrease all Okay, sure. I don't know how this is gonna work. Yeah? You're one of them bird enjoyers. You're one of them bird people. I see how it is. I see how it is. I mean, fair enough. If there was anything to enjoy, it's enjoy the birds. Enjoy the birds for who they are. Change the cost of Radiant Smelt to 4. Oh, wait. Does that increase it? From my grandpa's farm. Okay, that's really sweet, actually. That's really sweet. Just, oh yeah, I like birds because of my grandpa's farm. I mean, that makes sense then. That's really wholesome. I only tease otherwise, but yeah. What's your favorite bird to spot at your grandpa's farm? Is it like one of the barn owls in that case, since you said that was your favorite? Or have you befriended any murders of crows? Have you befriended any of them? Have you got like your own squad going on? Like you hold out, I don't know, a handful of seeds or something, and then they attack your enemies for you? Man, I want to do that with a flock of crows, but I don't think there are any by me, but also I don't leave my my room or my tower, like, I don't know, once a week, maybe? So, 30% damage amount to Diana's extra attacks? Oh my gosh, that's actually nuts. That's probably required for her, since she does basically only extra attacks. Each time an ally discards a card, gain an additional 2 flutters and increase the max stack count of flutters by 10. Nuts. Each time Diana's flutters stacks to 30, allies inflict 200% extra damage to a random enemy 1 time per turn. That is a ridiculous amount. This feels like gearing up to be a requirement. I don't know if I want to call it a requirement, but the amount of damage potential that you get from Shrimply, the 2nd, 4th, and 6th ego manifestation is really quite high. Really quite high. I also see why they recommend adding Lucas to Diana teams, but I don't fully understand it. And the reason why I say that I don't fully understand it is because Diana does seem like somewhat self-sufficient, but also somewhat dependent on having another hunter in the team, yet I probably wouldn't put her with another hunter in the team unless it was like someone that adds 1 or 2 more bullets at most. I see mostly sparrows, doves, and sometimes wood pigeons. I feel like you must have a lot of nostalgia going outside then to hear the different bird calls that are made then, right? Like, if you hear one of them, you just think of the farm days then. Oh boy, I can't wait to go back to my farm. And then you just hear more doves and sometimes wood pigeons. And then you're like, oh boy, back to the farm I go. I would imagine something like that anyway. Also, limited sale? Limited sale? I don't have enough for any of this. I don't have enough for any of this. At least it's guaranteed 1 5-star partner. I think they realize, like, no one's rolling for partners on the standard banner. I just go for this instead. But is this permanent? There's at least no timeout for it. So I guess that's one thing that they decided to add. But also, I've never seen Marin anywhere. You can click agent info, but that doesn't really lead me to finding Marin anywhere. Damn it. Draw 1 skill card. Okay. Interesting. I also unfortunately did my 20 regular standard rescue anchors the other day. So I can't use them now, which is unfortunate. But whatever. At least it's better that I had rolled than not to, even if I could have done it on a discount. Woe is me anyway. I'm like so close to getting a new 5-star on the standard banner that I may as well have gone on one later on, at least. I mean, it doesn't make too much of a difference, right? It's only a matter of time. And potentially next season that I will even get close to the amount that I had. We've got... Yeah, I mean, I've got the stamina and everything, but I don't need to worry about that too much. This is just notifying me because I've got this unlocked now, because I was using it for, Calipe. Then, I've got my dailies, but I won't do some of the dailies on stream. I figured that we're just going to go through some of the, half-anniversary content and whatnot that's in the game. And then we can do an actual run. So now we've got this new mode, Full-Scale Offensive, where you can use characters from... oh, I guess Prepare? are locked into that battle when challenging combatants are fixed. Okay. So only after an individual reset. I don't even know if I want to do this just yet. But that seems to be the only thing. So they've not got any more standard stuff. They've only got the full-scale offensive, which I half wasn't expecting. Then we've got the rest of Diana's stuff. So we've got... Oh. If you do a certain amount of rescues, they're going to refund me? I don't know. This would have been way more useful since I hit hard pity on, like, every single other character. Oh, gosh. Tactical simulation. We can give her a go. Why is this highlighting Lucas? Oh, is it because I already have him? But then I should have gotten it from Mika as well. I'm confused what it's trying to talk about. Then we've got overdrive simulation. Yeah, that's whatever. Achievements. Okay. I suddenly got a bunch of achievements now. And then we've got... Oh, I think I can pick between the different season stuff now, right? Let's check. So what I've done since they didn't have this feature earlier was I quite literally saved or held on to the Forbidden Catalyst season. All of its stages I still have on this one, just because I wasn't sure if I would lose it. So if I remove this one, actually let's remove this one because I'm not sure about it. Do not show Galactic Disaster. Options for Season 3. Wait, what? Okay, so they don't have a full separate event. It's just completely different here. These ones aren't so unique. That doesn't really make sense. Season limited. Okay. Does not appear in the song Rippling Through the Stars season. Huh. I'm kind of confused how this is gonna work, but let's merge. Let's do a merge. So... we've got Persona card. Oh, that's right. We were meant to have one of these custom cards or whatever that was going on. Now I'm remembering. So we can pick something like this, I reckon. That should be fine. It doesn't really matter whichever one that we go for. I hope a horror game wins the poll. Persona. I can double check what the poll is at. We have got, I think, 1 or 2 more responses since last stream. So... I can tell you one thing, there is very clearly one winner. Now, as a result of that, the tie that was once there has now been tie broken. And there is now a tie for 2nd place, I think it is. No, actually, we've got a determined 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place game winner. So yeah, that's gonna be a little bit exciting, I reckon. Well, you guys will 100% see what I end up playing as a result of that, and I can already say that I'm not looking forward to it, in the sense that you would imagine. But also, Operation Fallbreak, Irregular Chaos, Burning Life. Oh no, it's making me read stuff. I didn't want to do that. Whoa! Okay, never mind. She's pretty. We'll skip. Anyways. Here's Firebreak. Let's hope it's not Fear and Hunger. I'm hoping that it's not Fear and Hunger, because if I do a playthrough of Fear and Hunger, I don't know how entertaining I'm even gonna be to you guys. Like, what am I gonna sit down here and I'm gonna have to blur out the screen because there are too many naked people on there, and I'm gonna have to say, yeah, guys, I'll draw you a really bad MS Paint version of every single character that comes up on screen, and that's what I'm gonna have to do. Speaking of, Auger, do you think a horror game is less scary if it's a 3rd person than 1st person, or are they equally scary? Either one is going to make me crap my pants. Either one is going to make me feel, like, terrible about myself. So, yeah, it's, it doesn't matter in that sense. It's going to be difficult either way, but I also feel like 1st person is probably scarier. Like, just in general, I would imagine. So, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. The gameplay is also very frustrating. Yeah, I've heard that, Funger is a bit like... the Dark Souls of the RPG genre, maybe. I don't know how to describe it, but that is what people tell me anyway. I don't think that's actually the case, but maybe it's just more of a trial and error type genre, which is fine. It is fine. It's not like I'm averse to it, but I would probably prefer not having to do that. Also, no obtaining save data, I guess because of the Persona cards and everything. It's a little bit weird this is on this screen instead of being on the other screen. It's hard and unfair. That's one of the worries that I have generally. I have noticed that, actually. That it feels like Fear and Hunger seems extremely unfair. I don't know how I fare when it comes to unfair games, because when I think of it, I'm like, yes, I enjoy really difficult games, but do I enjoy it when it's unfair? That I'm not sure of, because Fear and Hunger is not so much roguelite or roguelike as it is just, oh, it's really annoying, and it just sets you back. That's at least my impression of it. You can call me stupid for it, but that's how it feels like. Like, I don't think my impression of Fear and Hunger is one of, I'm going to enjoy this. It's more like, I would rather sit down and listen to a video essay describing to me the 5,000 things that I wouldn't have known about this game, rather than being stuck playing it and then finding out, like, oh man, I actually just suck at insanely difficult JRPG-based games, you know? Also, I'm realizing now that I don't have any divine... I didn't get the latest potentials or whatever on my characters, so I should have done that before I went into this. Have you played any RPG Maker games? Yes, but I'm trying to think now if I've played like any big ones. I have played... Oh, wait, these are actually new dialogues. I thought these were different. I'm thinking, remove 3 cards? You know what, that's nuts, we're doing that. I'm trying to think now. I think I've watched the gameplay of Ao Oni, and like Mad Father and all of those that were popular on YouTube way back in the day. But then... Oh... I need to check. I think I played Mogeko Castle. Popular RPG Maker games. I think I played Mogeko Castle and that was it. Oh, I played Omori as well. And then I did play a little bit of Lisa the Faithful. And then... Let's see, what else? Oh, I did start Yume Nikki, but I never bothered to finish it. I thought it was like a little bit spooky, but then I just got kind of bored because I got lost all the time, and then I didn't continue to play it. Never played One Shot, never played To the Moon, never played Witch's House. I'm looking through these like top 10 popular stuff. I felt like Helix, no offense, Helix was way too artsy for me, so I never played it. I'm sure it's good. It just didn't look like my thing. Oh, and then I have played Undertale. Homer, we're in Undertale. I did play Undertale. I did play that one as well. Those are about the most RPG Maker-ish games that I've ever played, and that's about it. I can't think of anything else. At least nothing else is coming to mind when I think of RPG Maker as a genre of games that I've played. Why? Did you have something in mind in particular for it, or are you thinking it because of Thunger in specific? But, I don't know, even if Thunger wins... Which it's not, by the way. I'm checking the poll results. Thunger does not win. Thunger has, I will say, 2 votes for it, but not how many points. I will say that Thunger is 2 votes for it as being the next game that I'm playing. Just asking. Yeah, fair enough. Thunger is 2 votes, but the amount of points I will not disclose, so that you can't like change your answer if you were if you were to ever change your answer for whatever reason. So that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Select and remove 1 card. What was the point thing? So your first vote to something gives it 3 points. Your second vote gives 2 points, and your third vote to something gives 1 point, and that's to remove tiebreakers, but also so that you can't evenly distribute. I choose 2 points. You can do 3. You can do 3. So you do 1 first choice, 1 second choice, and 1 third choice, but you don't have to use all of them. It's more so for tiebreakers, so that if someone feels like, okay, this is my top choice, but I do want people to suggest this, like for instance... If you wanted to say, okay, well, I really wanted Auger to play through Fear and Hunger, but I'll give 2 points to Dark Souls, just because I don't know, they're vaguely in the same category. Which, funnily enough, I will say no one's picked Dark Souls. No one's picked Dark Souls as one of the games to play, which I thought was quite funny. I thought people were going to vote for Dark Souls or like Elden Ring or something like that, but I've gotten more votes on literally every single other game than those. And one of the reasons as well that I decided to do this was because I figured if you have this point system, it'll incentivize people to vote for things that aren't their own, or they can only vote for like one of them, because yes, you can just like make as many suggestions as you want, but I think that there are definitely some suggestions that are personally incentivized versus suggestions that are ones people actually want to watch, if that makes sense. Dark Souls was in the pool? Yes, it was in the pool. No one chose it. No one chose it. It's got 0 votes. We've definitely got a lot of votes for a couple of them. I feel like you're all colluding behind me. Yeah, there's like one very clear winner and then 2 second place tiebreakers that need to happen to figure out what's going on there. But yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them. If anything, I'm just happy that we have a case of slight tiebreakers happening, or games that very clearly have people who want. Was it like the last one? Oh, actually, let me check. So the games in last place are Vampire the Masquerade, Quarantine Zone, Darksiders, BioShock, surprisingly, and Dark Souls. You guys did not want me to play those games, or you did not have enough points to vote for those games. But yeah, there was none of that. Which is kind of surprising, because I thought Helios, unless I'm mistaken, wanted me to play BioShock, but maybe he reorganized his. I know that I was asked to play Golden Sun as well, but that didn't get any votes. And then I mean, some of them are like just stream games, right? So it's not half bad. It's not half bad. I might pick some of them to do either way, even if, like, no one voted for them, just because they make for good content on stream. Or at least more interactive streams that I can do with you guys. Though, to be fair, I do just, I do want to do my own thing as well. So even if you guys don't vote for some stuff, I will still maybe pick it, just out of principle of, I think you guys will enjoy this one more than you give it credit to, and it's not like you're voting to remove them entirely. Like, I might still come back to some of them, right? So, damn, I could have invaded you in Dark Souls? Now that's just evil. That's just evil. Why? Why would you do that? There's no reason for you to, but, you know, that's fine, I guess. Wait, what's this? Strict discipline if at hand in the turn. One disable attack card. What? Okay. Let's check this. Since there were better options, I didn't choose Bloodlines, and I don't know if people would choose that, or if it would be a game for you, to be honest. That is, yeah, that's fair. I think it's always a complication of, like, and that's why I wanted to give you guys more points to be able to vote more fairly for things, because, again, the issue becomes, like, if you have the results in front of you, you're way more likely to just pick something that you think will win. I've seen this, and we'll take an example of Nikke, right? Nikke posts the poll results at the end of every single day for all of their games, or for all of the characters that got, like, high votes or whatever. I feel if you do that, you're going to skew people into wanting to vote for the things that are already winning, like, within the different brackets and so on. So I would say, no, probably don't do that. And that's why I held off from showing, like, end tallies. To find you items, to give you items, bro? Yeah, I mean, invading me, however, for those? I could just, like, summon instead, and then we don't have to do that, Smiles, but oh well. Yeah, I'm only teasing anyway, but I think it would have been funny. I think, if anything, maybe there's a reason to do, like, Dark Souls as a game we do eventually, right? Like, if I can do a really silly spin on it, then maybe we do Dark Souls in the future, you know? I don't have anything in particular in mind with it, because, like, you've already seen, or at least I've already seen a whole bunch of videos where people are doing, like, randomizer runs of Dark Souls, or, oh, I played Dark Souls with my friends, or something like that. But one, I don't have friends. Two, randomizer makes for really varied, like, content. It could be terrible, it could be good, but it's mostly, like, shock factor, and rarely does someone ever complete it, so I don't really feel like that's the point to it. So, I'm not sure. I at least rule myself out of it. I mean, I would think it would be really fun watching you play Bloodlines, but that's just me being a freak about anything World of Darkness. I mean, that's fair as well, right? I don't mind people making these personal votes that they want to see me play one particular game, right? Because my whole point with this, right, is that if I do something like that, then at least people are voting for one of the things that they want, and then the other points can go to something else. That's why I was willing to give out more points, so that you can vote for something that you think will win and not actually see the end result of it, because I think a little bit of obfuscation goes a long way with it. So even if you did want me to play that, I don't mind. Maybe it happens way down the line. Maybe more World of Darkness fans show up. I'm not sure. I don't think that'll be the case. I don't know. You seem to be the only one here, but we'll see about it in the future. I don't know how it'll go after all. But as for, like, more stream games, that I'm not 100% sure of. I feel like if I were to do more streamer-oriented games, then I feel like I would want to play something like Quarantine Zone, was it called? Though I do also have other games in mind. I do have one that's on my list for variety, which I want to do. Again, I'm not really spoiling it now, just because my schedule is going to change, and then in case it takes us longer than expected to do one game in particular, then I can always shift between the two. So, lol, maybe people will like the game too, if in the future you will try it out. I like how you're using me to market World of Darkness. Don't get me wrong, I get what you're doing. I agree with you in that, but I'm also using this to introduce more people into what I like. Who knows, maybe I'll do an Ellen playthrough in the future. Though I don't think many people will be interested to see an Ellen playthrough, because oh my gosh, the grind in that game is nuts. I've seen a video of a guy taking lots of laxatives and tried beating Elden Ring before he poops his pants. Oh my gosh. That's like, you know when you have... I don't know, when I think of the stakes to like a YouTube video, pooping your pants doesn't really come up as one of them. At least not in my mind. At least it's a biological reaction. Curious, isn't it? Strange, isn't it? I would at least think so. I think that's kind of funny, but at the same time, that's like putting your body through duress just to ensure that you get some kind of content out of it. I don't know, that's kind of nuts. Like, actually, to take a whole bunch of laxatives and see if I can finish stream in time or finish a game in time. I don't know if I'm gonna do something like that, I gotta admit. I think if I were gonna impose some kind of challenge on myself, it probably wouldn't be something like that. It would probably be, like, lowering the point costs of one of my rewards for you guys to a really low level or something like that. For instance, would be prompt me or make me not do X or Y and then have it be tied to a specific integration. Literally 1 HP. Literally 1 HP. That's crazy. Be it tied to some specific, I don't know, Twitch integration that affects or influences my game somehow. Because I feel like that could be pretty cool. That could be pretty good, just in general. Elden Ring, 1 death, 1 push-up. The unfortunate thing is that I'm a VTuber, or at least a PNG tuber as it is right now. You won't see me do push-ups unless I can get like an entire bodysuit and then have a 3D model on so that you can see what it looks like, or at least verify/validate that I am doing push-ups. I would feel a little bit disingenuous if you couldn't see me and validate the push-ups thing in that case. I would be more willing to do it if that were true, though. If I did have, like, a 3D model or some kind of rig. Because I think even if I had one or put it on, then it would be a case of tracking. We'll hear you? Maybe. My cardioid mic is pretty good at blocking out everything that isn't my mouth. Or my voice, rather. Not my mouth, but you get what I mean. Whoa. 5-second tea break. This is so true. Otherwise, I could do other kinds of challenges. I was thinking of doing days where I would challenge myself to do something in particular and then have stream decide a punishment of some kind. Like, you decide what I stream next, or I play a horror game as punishment. So, do you go for magic builds in Souls games? I have to admit, I do. I love magic builds in Souls games. I really do. I really, really love magic builds in Souls games. And to be fair on myself as to why, it's because I barely upgrade the HP or the Vigor stats in all of the Souls games. So whenever I do play it, it's always like 1 or 2 hits before I die, which, yeah, is pretty difficult, but I much prefer it over the, like, oh, I get hit 75 times and I'm still alive, you know? I think it at least feels more... Excuse me, my voice is still screwed. It at least feels better in that sense. And, I don't know, in general, though, my opinion on various, like, magic builds in games has become kind of worse. Mostly because it doesn't feel like a lot of magic builds are that imaginative. Anytime you try a magic build, they all feel like different flavors of the exact same thing. Like, oh, do you want to shoot red particles or green particles? I don't know. I don't know. I think blue particles are cooler. And then it makes me go on, like, a giant fetch quest to find the blue particle spell. And that sucks. I really do not like that as a design philosophy for whatever reason when it comes to things like Elden Ring or Dark Souls. That, oh yeah, the blue spell or the green spell. I don't know what that means, dude. What does that mean? It doesn't have a difference in damage. It doesn't have a difference in whatever. The only difference is the particle effects. I want to try being I want to try for once being some kind of wizard in games that have that kind of class. I'm always going for brute force. I feel like if you really want to get the wizard experience, you should play something like Arx Fatalis. It is so good. It is so good for my little wizard brain to be playing something like that where you draw out all the spells and everything. I always go for strength and pick the biggest weapon. That's what I'm saying. You just do bonk stuff. You just bonk stuff, and that is most of the gameplay whenever it comes to, like, melee builds in Elden Ring or just in Dark Souls or whatever. I feel like there should be more to it. There should be more than that. I don't know. I feel like we're missing out on so much because we've decided to just wield heavy weapon and bonk stuff. Blue flavor spell? No, don't even start. I was just using it as an example. Come on. Please. Stop. Stop. Yeah, also in Elden Ring, you can't really use multiple spells. It's too slow to switch between them. Yes, exactly. People always flame me for this really hot take that I have. But my hot take is that the spellcasting in Dark Souls 2 is vastly superior to every spellcasting in Dark Souls or in Elden Ring. In any Dark Souls game or in Elden Ring. Oh my gosh, you cannot convince me otherwise. The fact that you have to commit to your spell, but then you can dodge cancel, way better. Enemies move too fast in Dark Souls 3. In Dark Souls 1, the system for magic sucks. In Dark Souls 2, it was way better because you could commit to a spell and cancel out of spells. In Elden Ring, you just kind of do a step forward and then you have a certain amount of frames for given spells where you can cancel but also kind of can't cancel, and then you always commit. I don't like that. I want to spell cancel. I want to feel like I'm in control of whatever I'm casting, and then I have to incant for the entire duration of it, so that I actually cast my spell, but also, if I time it right, I can cast and immediately cancel out of it. I'm not forced into, like, arbitrary frames or whatever. I'm in control. I create my own destiny, you know? You know Arx Fatalis? I played it as a kid. Yeah, Arx Fatalis is a crazy good game. Sometimes I cast lightning spells. Yeah. Faith build. I never really did do faith builds. I did do a pyromaniac build in in Dark Souls 2, but I've never done a proper faith build. I think I did it sometimes just to use a particular weapon, but again, I'm playing by myself. I don't care about the healing. I don't care about I don't know, trying to get like some specific item for faith. So I never really bothered, and that's why I'm out. I just didn't care. I just didn't care about it whatsoever. So, you know, I ignored it. I ignored it, and that's what I went for. I quit Dark Souls 2 in like 3 hours. The Contrarian Essays fooled me. I have to say, I love Dark Souls 2. It's good. It's really bad, but it's good, okay? It's good in a really bad way. Like, you would imagine, right, that Dark Souls 2, it is full of a bunch of jank, don't get me wrong. But the thing is with Dark Souls 2 as well, is that Dark Souls 2 has a whole bunch of really cool mechanics introduced into itself, and it does also have a semblance of Dark Souls 1's, like, interwoven world, or whatever you want to call it. But on top of that, the spell system is just so much better. I like that there are charges, I like that you have the cancelling, I like that the spells are way more varied in that game for whatever reason than the other games, because you had pyromancy, you had faith spells, you had just the regular, like, glitterstone or magic spells or whatever, and man, I like that way more, I gotta be honest. Bro, I need to go back to the game and try finishing it. When I played that as a kid, I didn't know English, so I went in blind, not knowing what to do. But I remember being mind-blown that I could actually mix flour and water to make dough and bake it near a fire to make bread. People underestimate just how cool Arx Fatalis is. Oh my gosh, what an amazing game it is. It's so sad that we've never gotten a game quite like it in however many decades, you know? Gosh, it is so good. Arx Fatalis is crazy good. And then you can also just, like, get the mod or whatever to make it more, what's it called? More up-to-date. And, it's pretty good with that as well. So, the weapons break too fast? Yeah, that's perfectly fair. I think the weapons breaking in Dark Souls 2 was really dumb. It was their way of trying to encourage people into using more weapons or using a variety of weapons, but then you have to balance it with how much you want to weigh and then, like, what weapons you have to unsheath and use in combats and how much durability you have. Like, yeah, there are a lot of things to consider, and it does kind of suck in that sense, but all in all, I still think Dark Souls did a pretty good job. Dark Souls 2, anyway, with the spells. I won't comment on the weapons and whatnot because I very rarely played any melee class. I think I did like one with the Demon Great Hammer, and then I just bonked everything on the head, and that was basically my run. And I thought that was so boring, so I played through it again with just magic, and I thought it was way more fun. At least I really like the gimmick magic. I think there needs to be more gimmick magic. Let me cast the chameleon spell more. Let me weigh 1,000 tons or whatever it is. Let me make myself really light and jump really high. Like, let me just do dumb things like I'm playing Morrowind, but also add PvP so that I can annoy people with it, you know? I'm glad they removed weapon durability in Elden Ring. I was glad about it as well, but at the same time, I was, I'm like impartial to it because it didn't really affect me enough since I used spells and spellcasting. Like, yes, spell slots and how many spells you knew was annoying, but it didn't matter to me that there was weapon durability. I was like, okay, cool. Let me just cast my same spell like 30 to 50 times. Doesn't matter. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I didn't think I was half bad at it either. I did also think that the, was it the Looking Glass Knight or the Glass Knight? The Mirror Knight? Whatever it was called. The big, like, white, statuesque monster with the mirror shield. Mirror Shield Knights, maybe it was called. I forget his name. My gosh, what a really well-designed, really cool boss to fight. I genuinely think so. Maybe people don't agree, but, like, so cool. So cool. The pebbles? Oh, you mean, wait, so when a card is discarded, plus 15 damage. Oh, that would be crazy for Diana, actually. Maybe I should try that. I need to try out the trial run with Diana again, and then see how that goes. But yeah, I only vaguely remember the pebbles, but also the life stones for regenerating HP. My gosh, I forgot how many of those you needed and how they had like whole grinding guides to finding all of them, or just, you know, farming a bunch of them so that you had them persistently throughout the entire game. Like, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, like, I didn't need it that much. I got through the entire game without having to need most of my life stones, were they called? Life shards? Life dust? Whatever. It's one of those, at least. So I don't think it was half bad. I think it was pretty A-okay, if anything. I just think there was definitely a lot of improvements to be done when it comes to some of the other mechanics. Like, it feels like with Dark Souls 2, they added maybe 50 different mechanics, and only a handful of them were, like, properly polished, and I feel like they did really well with the magic system. And then to just swap to Elden Ring, or no, Dark Souls 3, where all of the enemies just jump around and bounce around like they're on pogo sticks and are completely riddled out of their minds, where they're able to just, like, scream from I don't know, dude. They're like on the opposite side of the screen, and then like in 5 seconds flat, they're already in front of me and like doing their first or second attack. Like, oh my gosh, chill. And it was the same in Elden Ring. Everything just like bum rushes you really quickly. At least in Dark Souls 2, everything felt like slightly sluggish enough that I could dodge out of the way if I was casting a spell or something. So that's why I really like the spell casting, or the spell cancelling, rather, in Dark Souls 2. I like the crafting system in Elden Ring. It builds immersion. I think it's pretty cool as well. I just also think that it kind of sucks to have to go out of my way to find, like, some of the materials or the ingredients that I want. Like, I know this probably isn't the case. Like, I should be more focused on, like, trying to find or get the required items for one thing. But there's always this downside of, like, will you ever have enough if you go through one place one time? Then again, I suppose you can always just spend souls, but I don't know, whenever I rationalize what it is that I have to do to justify using items in video games, it's like, okay, if I want to use items in video games, I first have to, craft the item or buy the item, which I could use to go towards upgrades instead, which is permanence, which then would lessen my reliance on the item, which means I don't need the item. So why do I need the item? Well, I need the item so that I can use more items more effectively, and if I use more items more effectively, then I would need fewer items in order to use... It's just like a really weird economy balancing act that I'm just not interested in. Instead, I would rather see, I don't know, in Dark Souls, 500 souls... Oh, hell yes, this is going directly into my stat points, and then I don't have to care about it, instead of like, okay, well, I can spend, like, 200 souls on 5 throwing daggers, then I can craft 4 throwing daggers with this one powder that I found, after I had bought the throwing daggers from the guy, which means that I've now crafted these 500 soul daggers with only 200 souls, so now I have the 300 souls left over so that I can get debuff resistant or debuff applying status effects via this. I'm just not interested. I would just like, oh yeah, 500 into this stat, I'm stupid, let me do what I want. And the game completely facilitates that as well, so I never had to bother with it. In that sense, I used the Dragon Church on the island as a base. I vaguely remember because I also wanted to get some of the dragon transformations and whatnot, but I just never ended up being able to or doing that. Or at least I never got the entire transformation. I think I don't know, I played a lot of Elden Ring. I think, actually, I can just check how many hours I have right now on it. Elden Ring. I have 60 hours in it, but I just got bored. At some point, I just got bored and I never bothered to finish the game. I got past, like... what was my latest achievement, actually? Surely there is. Defeated Elimer of the Briar. I don't know where that is. It's right after me getting the achievement for Mimic Tier, though. And then I think I was fighting the gargoyles. And, mind you, I was also playing a pure magic build. So I'd die in like 1 or 2 hits, and that was all I was doing. It was just pure hardcore magic, just doing that the entire time. And then I got to the gargoyles, and oh my gosh, it was... I think the gargoyles made me really mad, and then I thought, oh, maybe I should grind. But then I put it off for a week, and I realized I'm happier without having to do that. And then I just stopped playing Elden Ring as a result. So... The dragon form is the DLC. I have like 200 hours. I thought there were some of the basic dragon forms, but maybe I'm confusing it with like Dark Souls 3 and its dragon forms, because I thought that was in the base game, or at least you had some of the dragon transformations that you could do in Elden Ring. I might just be like making things up now or misremembering, but that's at least what I remember. I remember that you had the ability to transform partially into some of the dragon stuff, but I could be wrong. Dragon spells? Yeah. The dragon spells, like whenever you breathe fire, it gave you the dragon head, for instance, and then you could use that. And that's what I'm thinking of. But I think the dragon transformation, or at least anytime I think of the dragon transformation, I always think like, oh, you need all of the items or all of the equips for you to be able to use the full dragon transformation. You can become a dragon in the DLC. Is it like separate from the entire dragon form? As a thing in in Elden Ring? Let's see. Dragon form Elden Ring. Okay. Oh, so it is just like a completely separate transformation to the one that you can do normally? Oh, okay. Achieved using the rock heart or a priestess heart tool, allowing the player to turn into an ancient dragon while disrobed. Aha. Okay. No, I was thinking of the spells or whatever that individually transform you into said dragon. Also, what do I want to remove from my deck here? I guess I can just remove one of these exhaust cards. But yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Oh, we've got a new weapon here. Increase damage amount of attack cards by 25% once per turn. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a new weapon added to my collection. Rune cords, that one's new. If there's a retained card, gained 60% fixed shield. Sorry, I'm just seeing a bunch of new items. Water Drop of the Goddess? At the start of the battle, one stop. So they've just kind of re-flavored some of the items that we got via last season into this. Okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They can do as they want. But, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm in the minority whenever it comes to my opinions on the Dark Souls series. Maybe it's just not for me. Because usually I'm a massive fan, right? I'm a huge fan of everything and anything fantasy. I just feel like Dark Souls also has a lore issue with the fact that maybe not Elden Ring as much, because Elden Ring takes the attempt to explain it, but in Dark Souls 2 I have no clue what was going on for most of the game. Dark Souls 3 I only vaguely know what's going on because you're fighting some dudes for Cinder stuff or whatever it's called. Then I don't know, Elden Ring, you're collecting great runes because of some apocalypse or whatever that happened. Sure. I still don't entirely know. Maybe I need to watch a 7 to 8 hour long video essay to see if I can figure something out. But honestly, maybe I'm better off just not doing that. I'm okay. It's like, I can't believe Nibble Snarf just allowed me to get away with that. And they're like, oh my gosh, who's Nibble Snarf? We need to figure that out. And they're like, oh, I can't believe Babingi decided that today was going to be the day. Oh, and then he like collapses to the ground. And they're like, oh, who's Babingi? Who's Babingi? Oh, and then they read like 17 different item descriptions, and they're like, oh my gosh, Babingi was the guy that Snarf dude was talking about, and they had a relationship 17 years ago that led them to create these two items and inscribe their name on this tree that you can find like in the background of this window from Volcano Manor. And if you open Volcano Manor when it's a full moon on the 3rd of April, it will reveal to you that Babingi was alive this entire time. I'm sorry, I don't care about Babingi. Just explain the lore to me. I don't, like, yes, it's there for people who want to do it. I'm not one of those people. So that's why I just didn't bother with it. The lore is all in the head anyway. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, what more is there really to the lore that exists as it is anyway? Like, you've got, oh, the world is dying, and you need to do something about it. Okay, cool. But, do I bother doing something about it? Should I do something about it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't see why I should. I don't want to do anything about it. We can just leave things as they are. It seems like it was all going to go, it was all going to ruin itself anyway, so I don't bother. I genuinely don't. I don't know, like, whenever you think of being born or living in one of the Dark Souls worlds, so to speak, how are you meant to cope? How are you meant to cope with that? Like, you're born to die. or you live long enough to see yourself turn hollow. 100% there's probably some fake lore YouTubers in these lore discussions nobody knows about. Dude, that would be so funny, actually. I'm feeling a little bit devious, but maybe I want to do something like that. Just like imagine, right? That you decide to make fake lore videos one day, and you just completely confuse the entire Dark Souls community with it, or the Elden Ring community. You could say something like, oh yeah, we just found out that Ocelot is actually half cat, or something like that, and he's related to the cat in the town of Majula in Dark Souls 2. And they'll be like, what? How do you know this? How do you know this? And I'll be like, yeah, well, I read this one unique item in the game files that's not out yet. So you actually have to dig through the files to figure out that the cat is related to Ocelot from Majula. Like, what are we talking about? We're not making any sense here, but I feel like that would be so funny to just make something up like that and see how long it takes people to realize. Just introduce a bunch of fake items in Dark Souls lore and see how well people catch on. Dude, I can't believe the cat did that to Ocelot. Oh yeah, man, I saw that as well. I can't believe it. Yeah, did you see that the Mimic Tear was actually the cause of the Iron King's demise in Dark Souls 2? What? No way! Yeah, it's actually true, and that's why... what was it? I don't know why I'm thinking Norn, whatever her name was. That gives you a hug or whatever, but then also poisons you at the same time. Oh yeah, I can't believe Mimic Tear would do such a thing. She took her place and then decided to become the Wandering Traveler in Dark Souls 3. Whoa, no way! You're telling me the Dancer of Boreal Valley actually came from the same, the Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls 1? No one's gonna get it. It's from the code source from the Japanese version? Exactly. They won't fact check me. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh. You know what? You know what? You've given me an amazing idea. Maybe for an April Fool's prank, I'll make a really elaborate but completely fake Dark Souls lore video. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. I think that would be so funny. You see how long it takes people to realize that it's all just made up? Or I begin pulling lore from, like, other games to try and compensate or fill in the gaps for, for the lore in Dark Souls. Also, where's the recruitment thing? Wasn't it here somewhere? What? Was it this one? No, it wasn't Firebreak. It was... What? I'm sorry. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh my gosh. I completely missed. But yeah, like, you could just have absolute nonsense for the next, like, hour of you talking. I could genuinely do that. I think I could genuinely do that. I could probably just talk nonsense for a full hour, and I would be perfectly fine. And I think that would be really funny. I think that would be hilarious. Gonna go now. Take care. Take care, Mr. Brown. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And... I'll see you tomorrow with some more Devil May Sob 5. I'll see also, maybe I'll post like an announcement in the server, but we'll also see whenever I decide to do like the Twitch plays Devil May Cry 5 thing, you know? Oh, this is exhaust, so I'll just leave that. The Twitch plays Devil May Cry 5 thing, and then we can activate all of the channel points, and then I'll reduce it and maybe up some of the values so that you can interact more easily. I think that would be pretty good. I think that would be pretty nice. Also, whenever it ends the turn, it doesn't just immediately, if this is discarded. I thought at the end of the turn, whenever you remove your hand or swap out your hand, that counts as discarding. But maybe Renoa's activates differently. Okay. We can draw one and then discard two. So this apparently counts. Activate resonance? No. We can do this, I think? I don't know. Oh, maybe I should have done two Heartbreakers because they also discard... Wait, what? No. Oh, okay. No. I'm getting it now. So now I use this and now it discards that one and then it triggers. Okay. This makes way more sense. Yeah, here we go. I'm kind of getting her kit, but at the same time, I'm not fully understanding it. Also, maybe it's just me, but the design I'm a little bit curious by. She's got two fake wings and one real wing. It's very cute. Deluge into with all my heart. I wonder if I should like already start making a really elaborate, really lame like fake lore video or whatever for my prank now. Will you watch the Elden Ring movie? What are they gonna say in the Elden Ring movie? Is it just gonna be... I didn't even know they were making one. Wait, you're not pulling my leg, are you? Let's Google. Elden Ring movie. Wait, it's real? Oh my gosh. Nick Offerman, The Last of Us as Fargo, joins The Last of Us... joins the cast of the Elden Ring movie. Whoa, okay. Yeah. I'll watch it when it comes out. A24? A24? What? I'm confused. But yeah, I'll give it a go. I don't know if it'll be for me, but yeah. It sounds interesting. So okay. Maybe I can create one of each heart bullet. Okay, let's discard. That was not what I wanted to do. I want to remove one of those. And discard every single one of these. Bye-bye. That doesn't deal nearly as much damage as I thought. A24 is the studio making it. Oh, okay. I had no clue. But yeah, I'll watch it, but what are they gonna say? Like, what can they say about that? Like, oh yeah, I'm the Elden Ring. Oh my gosh, he said it. He's the Elden Ring. True, he is the Elden Ring. And Sir Elden Ring, we have come to deliver a great rune upon ye. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Jack Black will play John Tarnished. Exactly. John Tarnished, and then we're gonna get... Oh, I've already forgotten every single character. Elden Ring characters. Who are we getting to play Torrent? Are we getting like Scooby-Doo to play Torrent? Or wait, why am I thinking of a dog? Who's a famous horse? Are we getting like one of the Uma Musumes to play Torrent or something? And then we've got... Who do we have playing Rani? Do we get like Tali from Mass Effect or something? I don't know what they're gonna do. That sounds so strange to me though. It sounds really strange that they'd make an Elden Ring movie. Like, I get it was popular. I get it made a whole bunch of money. But my gosh, Pegasus, like from the Hercules Disney movie? I guess so. I'm just confused. Like, what reasonably could they do for the movie? Like, what are they gonna focus on? What's it gonna be about? Is it just gonna be, oh yeah, here's the story of everything in Elden Ring? That's it, by the way? Like, okay, maybe. I don't know. Oh, John Tarnished, you truly are maidenless, aren't you? Oh man, I can't believe I've got no maidens with me. John Tarnished, how about you let me become your maiden? Oh man, I couldn't push that on you. Yes, John Tarnished, I shall become your maiden. I just feel like they should swap out the character. They should just make it a comedy show. I feel like very easily they could make it a comedy. If they just put their minds to it, they would be able to. Operation... Like, what am I... I don't really know what I'm doing with this, if I'm being honest. This game mode is confusing me. Cannot obtain save data. Am I meant to just beat this, like... Just beat it. No phase projection effects available to activate. Is there... Oh, also, I need to upgrade my combatants now that they have the Divine Epiphany Chance, or whatever it's called. We need to upgrade this. Here we go. Card Epiphany increased chances for a Divine Epiphany to appear by 25%. I think... Oh gosh. We probably want this on Typhira, because she's crazy good. Then we probably want this on 9, because she's crazy good. Yep. Then we probably want this on Sereniel, because she's crazy good. Yep. Then we probably want this on Reen, because she's my wife. Yep. And who else? What else am I missing here? Maybe I could do on, like... Magna? I don't know. I'm quite chuffed with that. That's quite fine. I think those are probably the best ones to go for, and then I can decide later on if I really need to go for anything else or if I need to change what I focus on. And then I've no, I haven't. Okay. I was like, oh, you know, I'd probably done my dailies by now as well, but no, I haven't. That kind of wraps up most of what I wanted to do today, and I feel like people are logging off, or at least people are not tuning in. Maybe that's a good point, because I don't think I can start another run. I would have played Slay the Spire too, but I was so focused on, like, figuring out all the different mechanics that I just didn't bother. I suppose I can talk about Nikke. I don't know how interested everyone is in Nikke, but Nikke's got its polls. Actually, relating to polls, Nikke has got its popularity contest poll going on, right? And although I kind of, like, understand what they're trying to do with it and where they're trying to go with it, it still kind of confuses me that they're allowing people to view what the total results are, like, before the poll is ended, because you're just going to notice that a whole bunch of the votes are going to go to, well, obviously the most popular characters, and as a result, you're not going to have, like, fair voting. Like, take this into account, for instance. Whenever you do a vote or you perform a vote of some kind, if you don't know the results, then you're going to vote for what you actually want. But when you know that you're competing with, like, the two most popular ones, you end up just not picking whatever it is that you're actually interested in. Which means that you end up doing, like, a fake vote because you know that you're picking between the winners, and therefore you're not voting for who you actually want to represent. And I think that kind of sucks. I think Nikke, when it's doing that, it kind of sucks in that sense. I'm trying to say that I understand, but I don't actually understand why they're doing it. I would much prefer that they choose either the system that I came up with, or that they do something else. Right? Yeah, I don't see how you can translate Elden Ring into a movie or any From Software game, right? I feel like you're probably going to end up with a whole bunch of cutscene-esque moments where it's just people fighting or doing something and barely any dialogue. Like, it could be good if you have barely any dialogue. Like, imagine you follow the Tarnished and his trek throughout the entire map or something like that, and he's, like, fighting different enemies. There's not really much to talk about, but maybe the NPCs talk to him as a result. Then you can kind of play it off as, like, a stoic, silent character, because the Tarnished shouldn't have, like, any personality in that sense, unless they're going with the predefined characters or, like, NPCs that exist in the universe anyway. So that could be okay. I still don't see it. I still don't see it. Like, the lore is already explained, and just to animate it, it's, like, one thing, but if you're trying to adapt some kind of story out of it, I feel like that's a completely different hurdle. They don't use traditional storytelling, yeah, plus they tell their story through a bunch of the items, and that makes me think, like, are they going to get lore experts involved in the making of the movie to try and figure out what is going on? Because that would be both really funny and really weird to try and explain to someone, oh yeah, the reason why the movie took this direction with explaining lore was because this guy had a bracelet that was made by his daughter 1,500 years ago, and he's preserved it ever since, and then it fossilized in this rock, and then the rock was found, but the magic of the bracelet still persisted, and because of the magic that was in this rock, it then became all of the crystal shards or whatever that you shoot, because it's totally magical girl magic that you're using. Like, okay, dude, yeah, go ahead and explain that to me in a movie. There's just gonna be so many different things that they have to touch on. There's also the Sekiro anime. I had no clue they were doing a Sekiro anime. At least Sekiro kind of has something to go off of, but I feel like maybe Bloodborne would have been more interesting to have gone for, you know? Like, Bloodborne has a whole lot of different gothic concepts and feels like a really cool setting to do. Not to say that Sekiro isn't cool, but maybe it's just because I'm unfamiliar with it and it just didn't interest me, but I don't see how they could stretch, like, an entire anime into that, or with Elden Ring to make an entire movie. Because some of the retellings, like, you could just take from some of the lore videos that exist for Elden Ring, and then just turn that into a movie, and that is essentially what you end up with. I don't think there's, like, much else to it in that sense. Maybe. I could just be making things up, but, like, maybe they'll do a really good job with it, and they've got a whole bunch of directors, and they've got an entire storyboard. I'm just saying that if I were to be reading through all of the items and piecing everything together, there would probably be a couple of jobs designated to people trying to define the timeline of Elden Ring, and then trying to make sense of it. But also, if it's trying to work with, like, any kind of Western cinema studio, I can 100% guarantee that is not going to turn out how the game devs intended it to. And that, I think, is going to end up in a bit of a weird situation. I feel so anyway. So yeah, I'm not certain. I'm not certain. I feel as well that when it comes to some of the lore that exists already, how do you even depict some of it? Like, some of it is probably going to be about the outer god or whatever descending into the world of Elden Ring and then causing his own destruction and demise or whatever, and then you've got the entire apocalypse that comes as a result of it. But do you really need that explained? Like, where are we starting? When you think of the Sekiro, or, sorry, not the Sekiro movie, the Elden Ring movie, and what it has to do to build context, there is so much that needs to be explained before you can even get into it. Otherwise, you just end up with, and ironically, I was going to say something like this, and Death Stranding movie, Kojima is involved in it, I feel like you would end up with a Death Stranding situation where you just have, like, no explanation for the world until you play like 70 hours into the game. So what happens with this Elden Ring movie is that you've got like 2 hours, let's say, to try and define everything that is going on, and as a result of you defining everything that's going on, you have no time to tell the story of the movie, and then either you start at the very beginning or you start midway through, and if you start midway through, how are you meant to give context without spending like an entire hour trying to explain everything? I don't know, it feels like there is so many hurdles when it comes to the Elden Ring movie. Like, it's crazy. I don't know how they're gonna reasonably manage it, much less be able to film and produce something for it. So we'll see. We'll see for sure. I at least have hopes for it. That's for sure. I think it will probably be of okay to good quality, or decent quality, or maybe great quality. Because the soundtrack, I can imagine they will not fail at doing. Death Stranding, however, I don't know. Kojima has taken a very interpretive approach with some of his movie making, so to speak, before, that I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of did the same thing now, but I wonder if that is what he would do. I'm curious to see how it turns out. That as well. I wonder if he'll ever make a Metal Gear Solid movie. Maybe it doesn't need one since it has so many games, but it could be cool. It could be cool. I think... oh, I brought myself to the screen without any of the music on it. Oh my gosh! Yeah. I'm just bringing us here because I think I've finished with Chaos Zero Nightmare for today. It was a little bit interesting to see all of the different things that they had added as a result of the half anniversary, and I'm going to be playing through a lot more of the different features that come as a result of it, or at least probably tomorrow or sometime throughout the week. Then maybe I'll have more thoughts on it by Sunday. I'm still not decided if I want to roll for Diana or not. It doesn't seem like there's any reason to do so. Plus, we're getting the seasonal characters that are going to show up eventually either way, so maybe we'll see how that goes first. Maybe doing an original story in the universe and not a retelling of the game. I feel like that could work. Then you would be able to start with established characters, and then you wouldn't have to re-explain everything. Then you could just start from your characters and learn about them as you go. Because if they were doing this with characters that people already know, my gosh, I can already see the amount of seething that lore experts are going to have about like some character not doing the exact same thing that they would have done or were said to have done in the lore. Or maybe that, oh, by the way, these item descriptions are actually exaggerated retellings of what happened, which I think is going to be a major problem. Actually, I didn't touch on this, but that would be a major problem. I think people, whenever they interpret the lore for what has happened or what some of the items retell on them, they don't account for the fact that these could be exaggerations. I think that needs to be really emphasized, because if you're going to tell me that this guy can, like, destroy stars, or this guy can, like, level entire mountains, but then he doesn't have that ability or whatever in the show, that kind of exaggeration is going to be taken literally. And then people are going to complain like, oh, dude, I can't believe this guy that's able to destroy stars was taken down by this guy that can knock on your door really hard. And John Tarnish was able to defeat them both with a single pinky. Like, okay. I think there's going to be a bunch of conflict with that. He can't. Konami owns Metal Gear. That's unfortunate. Oh, one of the sad things of parting with Konami. So true indeed. It would have been cool though, but that's what I was kind of pointing to or alluding to, that there probably are enough like Metal Gear games that they all form an entire movie in and of themselves. Like, I think 5, The Phantom Pain, probably had the most cutscenes or whatever, at least I've heard. Again, I've not played through any of it, but considering the amount of titles, the amount of stuff written for it, the amount of voice acting that's been done for it, I feel like it's already a gigantic movie series in that sense. But who knows? I feel like there's always the chance, and there's always a stigma for whenever it comes to video game movies that they all just kind of suck, but I don't think they have to suck. I think video game movies have the potential to be really good, especially considering that they already have a whole bunch of lore existing for it, and they have a whole bunch of characters and voice actors and everyone that has worked or collaborated on it. Like, you could probably ask a developer for some insights onto into a video game, and then be able to work with that into creating some cool piece of lore for a movie, and yet somehow that just doesn't happen. Instead, video game movies just get, like, completely shafted somehow. So, power scaling is so stupid in Souls games. Yeah, exactly, and I think that people would be taking that literally whenever they get to power scaling, like, oh yeah, this bracelet allows you to lift up 12 tons, and it doesn't write 12 tons, it says something vague like, this granted you the strength of 12 mountains held by the most strongest of Atlas Plateau in Elden Ring. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So now with this gauntlet, I should be able to hold up the entirety of Atlas Plateau. And it doesn't. It doesn't do that, and then people are going to complain. And you know what? They can complain as much as they want, because they took it literally. So, I don't so much mind. I think it's inevitable, right, that we're going to end up in one of these situations. There's like a 1 hour long cutscene in Death Stranding. No way. Dude, no way. There's an hour long cutscene. Wait, now I need to double check. Death Stranding. Longest cutscenes. I heard the Sonic movies were good. I've yet to watch those, actually. I feel like I need to get to watching them eventually, because I think they're probably pretty good. The longest continuous cutscene in Death Stranding occurs during the ending sequence, lasting approximately 31 minutes. Is this like non-developers cut? Do they have an even longer cutscene waiting for me in store if I were to ever play something like Death Stranding 2? That would be really crazy. But yeah, I feel like even the Sonic movies have been supposedly good, but a lot of movies just, or a lot of video game movies just, like, absolutely suck whenever it comes to their renditions of it. But that's what's really confusing to me, because even if you consider something like the Sonic movies, you've got the voice actors, you've got people who absolutely love the series, you've got, I think, because it's a childhood series as well, like, so many people have a lot of nostalgia for it, that you could very easily find a whole bunch of people who would be willing to do something really good for that entire series. But whenever you're trying to make something like an Elden Ring movie or a Sekiro anime, I'm not really sure. You kind of have to start from zero, assuming that people don't know the franchise, assuming that people don't know some of the characters, or you attempt to explain it within your, like, 2 to 3 hours, if you want to be really generous, your 3-hour runtime. That seems really difficult, unless you're making a movie series, but I can't see that happening, you know? I feel like that's going to be something that people are averse to. Like, they join in, they start the movie, and they're like, oh man, am I watching, like, the third one in a trilogy? How am I meant to know all of these people's names? So you would have to introduce everyone sequentially, and then, like, make sure that the audience is properly attuned to what's going on in this world, you know? Yep. Anyways, I think that's a pretty good spot to stop for today. Wearing out my voice enough as is, but I've got some videos to post. I've got a video to edit, which I can hopefully get out today, otherwise tomorrow. But that will be all from me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for lurking, for typing, for just being here. And if you enjoyed the stream, that makes me happier than anything. Feel free to follow, or whatever. I do this every day. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing some more Devil May Cry 5 with the chat influence, of course. And then I think we're getting really close to the end, so we'll see if we do... because it's... Wait, what day is it today? Thursday. No, Wednesday. So, tomorrow will be Devil May Cry 5, then Friday will be Devil May Cry 5. I reckon that will be around the time that I finish the game. Then next week, I'll maybe make a poll in anticipation to see which days people are available on most, and then we can do the Twitch chat beats like Dante or beats Virgil in Devil May Cry 5, and I think that would be a lot of fun. My first iteration was, my first interaction, I suppose, with Sonic was the Sonic Boom cartoon. I later found out about the games. Sonic Boom wasn't actually half bad. Sonic Boom was pretty good. It had a whole bunch of jokes and whatnot in it that I think, like, still hold up today. They're, like, encapsulated in their own thing, so they're not dependent on the time that you watch them. They're still pretty funny for that. But yes, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow at the exact same time, minus 2 hours. So, 2 hours prior to now, but tomorrow, if that makes any sense, with Devil May Cry 5. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!